Hi everyone, this is Grace, and today we will be learning how to make this beginner bunny rabbit set. I am so excited. I made this set with true beginners, at-home beginners in mind, so let's get started. Now, I challenged myself to use one consistency for this entire set. So I am using a flood consistency. I'm using a thick flood. Go check out my consistencies video if you're not sure what that is. Now, I normally do this kind of technique right here with a piping consistency because you'll get a thicker color and more color in the paint than the thinner flood. But like I said, I challenged myself to use one consistency. So if you want a bit darker on that painted color, you could do 2 layers. So let the first one dry, paint over it again for a bit darker color. But I was okay with this kind of transparent pink. I was vibing it. Now we're doing cutouts here, and I'm sure if you've been around a minute, you know that I always say you must use 2 consistencies to do cutouts. Otherwise the cutouts will melt together. Now obviously I'm going against myself here, and the key to that, first of all, is to use a thicker flood. So I'm using a thick flood with this set. And the second thing is that you see that I did the cutout outline first. That's really important because it's going to give it like a hot second to just kind of settle in place. You also want to do the cutouts just a little bit bigger with the expectation that they will probably close up a little bit. And the thing that's important with doing a one consistency outline and flood is that you do need to flood right away because you want that thick outline to melt in with the flood. And that's what I'm doing here. Now I will say, so these are standard size cookies. I will link the cookie cutter set in the description of the video. And it's a good amount of surface space to be covering with a thick flood. So just keep that in mind. You do need to work pretty quickly. If you're not totally comfortable with flooding, don't flood all the way to the edge. Seriously. That's what I do because it's not only my comfort level, but it's also my style. Some people have a style where they don't flood all the way to the edge, and that's totally a thing. Pausing here on these eyes here. So this is the easiest way to do eyes with cookies. So it's a black pearl, but it's a specific brand. It's PME Black Pearls. I will link those in the description. Do not use any other brand. The most popular brand out there, the most common one, is going to be incredibly hard black pearls, and it's going to bleed into your icing. It's catastrophic. So there's the little bunny, and again, with that little nose, normally I would use a piping consistency with that, but I got away with using a flood. So I'm just rolling with the punches here. You'll see there are some other things I'm doing that I would normally use piping consistency, but again, one consistency. I wanted this to be as approachable as possible, but still beautiful. So I used one consistency, 4 colors, white, green, orange, and pink. And then I use some sprinkles, and it's amazing how much variety sprinkles can give you in your textures. This set is simple and it's a beginner, but it's not devoid of texture and dimension. That is my big thing as a cookie decorator. My designs aren't always that complicated per se, but I really emphasize colors and texture. So this is one of my favorite techniques, this Crackle technique here. And just going to pause here on the tool that I'm using here. And this is a fancy fondant tool. It's my favorite to use, but you do not need to use this. Just use a paintbrush. Like, you're going to need a paintbrush, right, for that first stage of the bunny. You can use the end of the paintbrush. It's most ideal if it is rounded and not flat. So just keep that in mind. If you have any other kitchen tool or knife or fork or anything that you have with a rounded end to it, you can use that. You do not need a fancy tool. I'll talk more about the Crackle technique when we do the flower, because that spends a lot more time on that one. So here we've got the orange. Now I did want to do the Crackle first, let that set, and then flood the orange second. Because I wanted there to be some definition in between those 2 sections. Now, these colors are pretty muted for me, especially. I tend to do pretty strong colors. The key to muted colors, 2 ways you can do it. One way, if you're working with totally fresh icing, is to use a toothpick to get the color out of your gel coloring tube. A drop of color is probably going to be too much if you're going for really light pastels. So use a toothpick just to get to the end, or just like a tiny bit of color out of the tube. Here's another thing I'm doing here that I would normally do with piping consistency. This is going to take a good amount of control because you're using a flood and that's going to come out of the bag real quickly. If you're uncomfortable with that, you can leave the carrot plain. You don't need to put those lines on it. It's clearly a carrot. That's one of the things with cookies. Like, you don't need to go the extra mile to do that detail if it looks like what it's supposed to look like already. So clearly a carrot, roll with it. Let's do it. Next up, we have the bunny feet. This one might be my favorite. Actually, no. I think the jelly bean's honestly my favorite, and it's like one of the simplest ones, and you'll see that later. Okay, let's focus on the bunny feet. So I just want to pop on about white icing. So I do color my white icing. I didn't used to, and I have to say it makes a huge difference. So I prefer to use the Sugar Art Master Elite in white if I can. I say if I can. So an instance where I wouldn't, because you have to thin Master Elites with a liquid. If my icing is already too thin, then I'm not, I wouldn't use the Master Elite because it's just going to make it thinner by adding that coloring to it. So you can use, I always have a gel coloring on hand too. So I have a Maricolor and another brand that I'm blanking on, but it just, a white gel food coloring is just dandy. So important to note here that you want to try to prevent craters on adding the little pads here. And the way you do that with a 2-layer like this is that you want to be working with that first layer when it has just barely crusted. Just barely crusted. How long is that? I would say 10 to 15 minutes. In this case, you're going to see at the end that I had a little bit of cratering, and I think that was because I waited too long to put the pads on. It's hard to tell, obviously, when it's covered with sprinkles because you can't see as easily how shiny or matte the icing is, because that can give you the visual cue of how dry it is. But this was #good enough. And if you get some craters, it's okay. Even like, I'm an advanced cookier and I still get craters. So if I still get craters, it's okay if you do too. Now, this cookie here took me many different tries. I had a much different idea of what I wanted to do with this design. I wanted to do a wet on wet with some sort of a scribe pull, and I decided not to do that because with a standard sized cookie, flooding this with a thick flood, it can crust pretty quickly. And even I was struggling to do a scribe pull before the icing crusted. And again, this is really meant to be a beginner set, so I didn't want to put anyone else through that torture. So I came up with a design that I'm actually really excited about for a couple of reasons. You see me using a scribe here, by the way. Again, you don't need a fancy scribe. Use a toothpick. I used toothpicks for ages before fancy scribes like this were ever a thing. So we want to make sure that we've got like a pretty good base to work with. But if you're really slow, I would go straight to the polka dots that you're going to see in a second, because you don't want to waste your time settling out that orange flood and then it has crusted by the time you do polka dots. So this is what I love about this design. I personally actually struggle with polka dots. I mean, these look pretty decent, but they're not perfectly circular and drive me crazy. So what I did is we're adding some non-prize on top, which I think adds some nice dimension and complexity to the design, but it also hides any imperfections in your polka dots. That is my favorite. I truly believe as a more advanced cookier, I just get really good at hiding my mistakes or hiding my imperfections with other techniques. So that is the egg. And next up, we've got the flour. This is one, again, where I was playing around with how I wanted to finish this off. And I went with a Crackle with the whole set. So, sorry, not the whole set. I mean the whole flour. I originally thought, excuse me, frog in my throat. I originally thought that I would do each petal individually, and I tried that out first. You have to wait. You'd have to do this. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink of water. You would have to do this flower in 3 stages to get the petals if you did them individually, because you need, it's the flooding in sections concept to have space in between each petal. And I was like, y'all, this ain't worth it, first of all. Second of all, again, this is a beginner set, and I didn't want you guys painstakingly doing each petal. So I went with just flooding the whole cookie. And what we're going to be doing is the crackle technique. So make sure that settles out. When I made this set, I actually did not use my dehydrator because I really wanted to see what it would be like without a dehydrator, because I've just been using a dehydrator for so long. So I let my cookies dry in front of a table fan. That's what I used to do for years before I got a dehydrator. And again, there's no magic time to the crackle stage. The crackle stage is when your icing has reached enough dryness on the top layer that it can actually crack like this. If it's not dry enough, it will dimple instead of crack, which is a look too. And if you do this and it's dimpling and not cracking, that's okay. But I say wait 10 to 15 minutes. So it's going to depend on the environment you're working in. How warm is it? How humid is it? How dry is it? How cold is it? How thin is your icing? The thicker it is, the faster it will dry. The thinner it is, the longer it takes to dry. So I always just set a timer for 10 minutes and then go from there. So I might try out a little corner, or I can tell visually if it's ready or not. So I did let the crackle dry a bit more because you don't want to have wet crackle when you're doing this stage, because you're gonna get sprinkles all over the pink, which is not the goal here. Now, I do think I waited a bit too long, because you're gonna see, always do sprinkles over a bowl, by the way. You're gonna see in a second that the center actually cratered. You see that little dimple in the center? That is because the pink was too dry. But y'all, the beauty of those sprinkles is it really distracts from the fact that it cratered. I had y'all in mind here. We're using a lot of techniques here to cover up any imperfections. So, I mean, again, even me, it cratered for me. So I just want to point out here too, we're going to be covering this whole cookie in sanding sugar. And you'll notice that I did not flood all the way to the edge. You do not want to flood all the way to the edge when you're covering an entire cookie in sanding sugar, because that sugar, those sprinkles essentially, are going to weigh down the icing and it's going to spread out more. So you're going to do yourself a favor if you're giving yourself a little leeway on the edge, to not flood all the way to the edge so that your icing has room to spread out. You don't need to try too hard with getting this level. It just needs to be level enough because you're going to cover it with sprinkles and that will hide a lot. Now with sanding sugar, there are 2 different main sizes of sanding sugar. Ooh, sorry. We're going to talk about this little bit here. This is essentially a dot. And then you take your scribe or your toothpick and you pull through that dot. And you give yourself that little reflection bit on this jelly bean. Now we're going to cover it in sugar. Again, over a bowl with a spoon. I don't waste any sprinkles. Right, so there are 2 sizes of sanding sugar. This is the smaller size, and there is a coarser size. For this set, I wanted the smaller size, largely because of the bunny foot, because I was going to be piping on top of that. I just think that's easier with a smaller size sanding sugar. And what makes sanding sugar different is obviously different sizes of crystals, but there's something in it that, like, not in it, but it kind of has a glisten to it, like it shines. And yeah, gosh, we got there so quickly. We are at the end of this set. I really hope you learned a thing or two, enjoyed this video, and I hope that you try this at home. When you try it at home, let me know, drop some notes in the comments. How did it go? Did you enjoy yourself? I will link as many products as I can in the description, and have so much fun. Thanks, y'all.